Modern Warfare 2 is a work of art.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
An untouchable golden standard for Call of Duty's multiplayer and story. Not the Spec Ops though, while good in some aspects, it wasn't the zombies which we had all hoped for in being an aliens mode. But whatever. I'll dive deeper into this, but I need to reiterate how amazing the multiplayer was for this game. Not because it's balanced or contained tons of content. Well, the idea of it coming out in like 2009, this was as good as it got for content. This game was amazing and still is amazing, even though there's not a ton of players really playing it on Xbox, because it was truly one of the most unoptimized, unbalanced pieces of garbage you could ever play. But it was fun. I'm sorry I used the F word with Call of Duty, which will probably cause like the algorithm to never show you this video, but it truly was and currently is one of the most fun Call of Duty games. One in which you could just simply hop on and no matter your skill level, just play, because your thumbs weren't the thing that proved your skill in this game. It was your mouth. That could be taken a bit out of context, but listen, just listen to the trash talking in Modern Warfare 2 lobbies.
You fucking suck. You ain't won a game in the last 5 fucking games, dude. You fucking you literally YouTube and use a shooter mod. So fucking change your controller 100% beat the shit out of it.
The whole idea of kids these days would never survive an MW2 lobby is just such a true statement. Like, the amount of toxicity in this game is truly what made this experience so great, amongst a bunch of other things. Though, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Modern Warfare 2 is a direct sequel to Modern Warfare 2007. Not the reboot, in case you were, for some reason, confused. Idiot. It was the first sequel that the Call of Duty franchise ever had done, which I assume is for two different reasons. One, World War II was just not as popular as it once was. World at War proved that, which probably led to the reevaluation of which direction the franchise should go in, probably more so on the Treyarch side of things. And two, Modern Warfare was a massive hit, so not doing another Modern Warfare game would have been idiotic to just not do. As someone who wasn't in the studio at the time, I'm gonna guess a couple questions were thrown around, like, what can we do? Where can we go? And how can we improve from Modern Warfare 2007? I think we can safely say they answered every single one of these questions just in hindsight. I mean, this game had so much hype behind it. At least from my own experience, I would watch the Flag Runner gameplay trailer at least once a day. Probably more than that. Like, I don't know what iPhone was out, but I remember watching this trailer in the back of the school bus on my way home. Like, this was amazing. Along with the other story and multiplayer trailers, one of the trailers even featured an Eminem song, and I won't play it for the sake of getting a copyright strike, because there's nothing I hate more than using 10 seconds of something in a video I probably spent hours on, just to have that become toilet paper for someone who doesn't need the money. So, just saying. Also, bring Eminem back for the Call of Duty trailers. We all loved it. It would just get you so amped up. Again, everything shown for this game made it look incredible and built up the hype more and more, leading to me as a 14 to 15-year-old kid to just skip school.
I'm sick. Boo, you whore.
Did I get picked on? Yep. I actually think I took a week off of school just to play, because guess what? I was level 70 and they weren't. So all those people can eat a massive plate of Arby's for all I care. Also, this was at the time where games were releasing on Tuesdays for God knows what reason, so you kids these days have it so damn easy being able to play a game on a Friday and be schlubs for a weekend without any repercussions at all. Huh. Hold on one second. I'm getting a message from my producer that doesn't exist and is not in this room and isn't named Suhas, so gotta read this. I in no way condone the absence from school, work, or skipping out on prior obligations over the pursuit of obtaining max level in a video game, as you should want to avoid at all costs being a miserable, overweight fuck who does nothing but complain about video games while pissing off 90% of the internet. Me. That's what I'm saying. You don't want to be me. And if you haven't figured it out yet, being on this channel, I mean, all my videos are pretty much about me. With that being said, I would like to dive into the game a bit deeper, go over the 3 major parts of the game that I'll at least try to timestamp so it makes it easier for you, the viewer, to view this a little bit better. If that, remember to do that. I probably won't, to be honest, or TBH, for the young kids that probably are watching this, because I gotta at least get that demographic somehow. So, yeah. Also, for your viewing purposes, and so everything has structure, as we all need structure in our lives that apparently doesn't exist, I'll be breaking this up into 3 parts, those being the campaign, the Spec Ops, and the multiplayer, mainly because no one gives a shit about the previous 2.
Let's do this.
The campaign. Modern Warfare 2's campaign was incredible. From all the different characters, locations, and plot twists, it was truly one of the most incredible stories we've seen in Call of Duty, as it essentially upped the ante by taking the Modern Warfare story on a more global scale, where you, the player, would play as various characters, being Alan very briefly, Roach, and Ramirez, who just needs to get the fuck to Burger Town.
And secure the Burger Town. We're gonna move after over there.
The story takes place in the year 2016, after the unaliving of Big Bad Imran Zakhaev in the first game. It's important to know that because Zakhaev's death helped set up his protege Vladimir Makarov, who intends to kick off World War III, he does this by committing a very terrible act of mass murder at an airport, which, if you watched this video, you would probably know that the media had a fucking field day with this entire mission. Essentially, any argument about video game violence had this mission right here as its poster child. Being honest, while mildly offensive, it's not that bad. Like, I've seen GTA players do a lot worse. So, maybe at the time it was bad, but they offer you a warning before you even start the campaign. So, yeah, but I'm not going to go into it too much. With Makarov having succeeded in his plan to kick off World War III, Task Force 141 is tasked with taking down Makarov, which is where you play as Roach, who's kind of like, maybe new? I don't know. They don't really give you much about his backstory. They just throw him in there anyway. You team up with Soap, the protagonist from the first game, Ghost, who everyone loves, and a bunch of randoms who, spoiler, they all get killed off. Oh, and Price, who you rescue from the Russian gulag later on in the game. Again, spoiler for a game that was released in 2009. That's like close to 13 years ago. So, oh my god, I'm fucking old. On the flip side of things, you play as Alan during the introduction, where later on you're unalived, as mentioned, by Makarov. So, your body can be discovered along with the fact that you're an American. Originally, this mission solidified how Makarov was the perfect villain. So, I just want to throw that out there. Anyways, you also play as Ramirez, who is assisting in the defense of America's home front. Honestly, some of my favorite missions in Call of Duty history occur here, so I want to throw that out there as well, as we don't get many games that portray this American invasion, like of the home front, on the scale that Call of Duty did, and usually we just kind of get the aftermath of it, so I just want to commend them on that. The fighting takes place in DC or the surrounding areas. Not much story-wise really happens here, but it's still cool nonetheless. It feels as though the main story falls heavily on Task Force 141, with the fallout being put on the American home front side of things. Things happen which lead to Roach and Ghost being betrayed.
You have the DSL.
We got it, sir.
Good. That's one less loose end.
Area is sanitized. All targets destroyed. Solid copy. No movement detected. 2-6 going into holding pattern. Girls! Come in! This is Price! We're under attack by Shepherd's men in the boneyard! Sir, hold the left flank! Do not trust Shepherd! I say again, do not trust Shepherd! Sir, get down!
Which is easily still one of the biggest betrayals in gaming history. Wink wink, nudge nudge, watch my video so I can make more money. I also upgraded the gameplay from that scene, at least from the OG version to the remaster, so you're welcome. From there, Soap and Price enact a revenge plan on Shepard by unaliving him. This is done by tossing a throwing knife into his dome piece, but that's not before it's revealed he is the real villain, and explains he set everything up so that more people enlist in the military, and it kind of like starts patriotism or something. At the end, a wounded Soap is taken by Nikolai and Price to a helicopter, setting up Modern Warfare 3, shockingly, because who else would have thought they were going to do another Modern Warfare, everyone? The answer's everyone. Once you beat the game, you unlock a secret mission called Museum, which is where you can wander around and check out various characters, weapons, and set pieces from the game, and pressing a button will make them all come to life, like the movie Night at the Museum, featuring Ben Stiller as not a douchebag, kind of. The campaign is definitely a major highlight in this game, and I feel like it kind of sets a really high stakes tone, making every mission, twist, and location fit seamlessly with one another. And again, I know that I mentioned that the American Homefront side of things was a little kind of on the back burner, but it does at least fit very well in seeing the outcome of a lot of the actions that are happening on the more global scale in the American Homefront. So I want to throw that out there because someone's probably going to make a comment about that. But great story. Moving on. The Spec Ops. I gotta do this. I really have to do this. Nobody cares about this. Nobody cares about this part of the... Okay, fine. Okay, I'm just going to get this out of the way as fast as possible by saying this. I hate Spec Ops. In the year 2009, when I was just like a young lad finding his way in the world, probably didn't mind it. But as a grown adult, sort of, that has seen what the franchise can do, this ain't it. Just saying, zombies and horde modes should be in the game and not Spec Ops. But allow me to recede into my 2009 self. Spec Ops was a two-player co-op mode where you and a buddy, if you had any, would complete various objectives like racing in snowmobiles, defending a specific location, or racking up a body count like Charlie Sheen. That's it. And had you played this prior to the campaign, you would have at least been spoiled to the Captain Price reveal because he has a voice line in it, giving away what is probably one of the most important parts of the campaign for, again, a campaign released in 2009. To complete all these missions, you need to obtain 3 stars in each section, adding up to 69. Ha, ha, ha. We see what you did there, Infinity Ward in 2009. Again, this wasn't anything entirely special. It existed. So if you're some sort of achievement hunter, then it's here for you. I remember when I was a youth and didn't have chronic back problems that people talked about how this game was going to have some sort of zombies equivalent with aliens. Unfortunately, that didn't happen until Ghosts came out, which that also sucked, but this isn't a Ghost video. It's an MW2 video, and Spec Ops wasn't zombies and it wasn't aliens, which honestly was kind of a letdown, but it served its purpose for the time. The multiplayer. Thank God we're here. Anyone that hates on MW2's multiplayer and doesn't say it was the best wasn't there to play it at launch. Did it have issues? Yeah. Was it one of the most fun Call of Duty experiences of all time? Hell yeah. Which I know I mixed together the Call of Duty and dreaded F word together again. Like, I don't want to say the word peak, but this game's multiplayer was undoubtedly more fun than the last 20 Call of Duty games. Why? Because by design, this game has some of the most simplistic designs while improving ever so slightly from its predecessor. For instance, we saw the addition of Pro Perks, which basically allowed the player to complete a series of challenges while using said perk to unlock a pro version of that perk, giving you an added bonus. Like, here's an example. This is Danger Close. Saying this is enough to trigger any old school MW2 player. Basically what this perk does is increase explosive damage by 40%. Once you achieve 100 explosive kills, this then unlocks the pro version of that perk, where not only do you keep the base details of that perk being the 40% more explosive damage, you also get a 40% damage increase on your kill streaks as well. So things like Harriers and Chopper Gunners were insane. Combine that with One Man Army Pro, which allowed you to change classes faster, and you had an insane combo. Like, name a better duo. I'll wait. Alright, fine, I'll do it. Dick Bush. Don't even get me started on the iconic commercials for this game. Like, not that anyone who played Call of Duty around this time could even forget them, but one was called Fight Against Grenade Spam. Just think about the acronym for a second, which featured Cole Hamels, whose claim to fame was marrying Heidi Strobel from Survivor Amazon, and, well, he was also like a 4-time MLB All-Star and a World Series MVP pitcher, but who really cares about that? This commercial ended up getting banned and parodied by Bad Company 2, which features everyone's favorite fat boy, CC Sabathia.
Hi, I'm CC Sabathia, star pitcher for a well-known baseball team based in the New York metropolitan area. I'm here today to talk to you about an important problem affecting all of us. Random grenades. Sweetwater, what are you doing?
Oh, shit.
They also had another one. Yeah, there wasn't just one band commercial, but 2 band commercials, which featured some old guy talking about how everyone was doing it, which a lot of people thought was
sex.
Well, he's not talking about the birds and the bees, he's actually talking about the newly released stimulus package. I feel like it would be some sort of disservice to at least not show you this commercial, so here's at least something if it's not cut down a little bit.
Everyone is doing it.
Guys are doing it with girls. Some get together in groups and do it. Some go online and do it with complete strangers. Some like deeper penetration when they do it. Some people get scared and pull out right in the middle of doing it. Sometimes when people do it for the first time, they don't last so long. Sometimes when people do it alone for too long, their hands cramp up. Some people just like to watch other people doing it. Some people have steady aim, and others just spray everywhere. Some people like to do it hardcore. Some people like to be all chatty-Cathy when they do it. Sons of bitches do it so loud they keep up the neighbors. Sometimes my dog likes to watch me do it. Some people go into domination mode, and that's some freaky-deaky shit. I've heard there's over 20 million people doing it now, so it's safe to say that everyone is doing it.
Seeing as though I've hardly talked about the multiplayer, let's finally do that. As mentioned, the MW2 multiplayer saw a bunch of new additions, such as the probe perk system, kill streaks, call signs, and emblems. Also, I can't forget about the most important, host migration. For those who don't know what that is, basically it made one person the connection host of the game. In case that person, for some reason, rage quit, the game would pause and find a new host instead of just straight up ending the game, which happened in previous Call of Duty titles. Oh yeah, that shit was a thing. Imagine being on a tear and all of a sudden the game would just end because someone got their jimmies rustled. Now with dedicated servers, I don't think that's a big deal anymore. In the year 2009 though, this was like a blessing from the gods. Yet none of that means the game was perfect. For those that don't know, a bunch of people in about, I don't know, March of 2010 had been fired or quit Infinity Ward due to contract breaches or insubordination of the two executive employees, and they just left with them. Those employees went on to create Respawn Entertainment, who was responsible for creating Titanfall and Apex Legends. But this essentially left maybe, I don't know, half of the company, who now had to rebuild everything in their structure of the company to fix a plethora of issues that were pretty much like server spawns, out of the map bugs, weapon balance, perk imbalance, and many, many more. I mean, this was at the time when JTAG Xboxes, which none of you know what that is, and modded controllers were at their peak. So one would probably imagine nothing got fixed with like a half-barren, empty company. One of 3 DLCs ended up being cut and not done, and I wouldn't say that the developers just abandoned the game, but I also wouldn't say that they were actively fixing things either. Yet, with all the issues this game had, it was fun. Like I said, the game to its core and everything that they built was fun. The movement wasn't extremely fast like it is now unless a perk was equipped. Every gun was extremely satisfying to use even though they were broken, and all the maps were extremely fun, except for Underpass. Fuck that map. But you can't blame the developers at all. I mean, no one was there. It's not like where it is now, where they have tons of issues and yet tons of micro DLC is just added to the game with nothing being fixed. Plus, a lot of the glitches or development oversights, if you want to call them that, turned into iconic gameplay mechanics. Factor in custom game lobbies being so much fun with things like 1v1s or Michael Myers, which succeeded due to things like Commando Pro, knifing attachments, or little map glitches. Things like the ACR or UMP45 were staples to people who played game battles, which I take pride in by saying my team that I was on with a bunch of my friends at the time went 0-100 because at the end of the day, it was all fun, while it may not have been in the moment. That's what made Modern Warfare 2 so goddamn good. It was mindless fun. You never had to try hard every single match like an MLG Pro. You had to figure out who you were going to trash talk in the lobby and if you were going to be louder than them. Even at its core, had everything worked. The developers never had issues, or none of them had left. I would say that this could have been the most perfect Call of Duty game as a just functional thing. Why? Because there was one more thing outside of just being so goddamn addictive and fun, was that there was passion. Passion from a developer to make improvements on the previous iteration and deliver the best product possible. Maybe not everything went so well or was so thought out, but at least they could have been fixed, and things like that don't exist in Call of Duty today. I feel like there's probably some sort of passion, but I feel like a lot of the times now it's just get it out the door, deal with it later. In comparison to this time, everything was just about passion and wanting to develop the best product possible for you and me as consumers. And if you watch old interviews from the developers and stuff like that, you could see they were excited to talk about the game and that they really wanted things to work and that they had thought ways to make things work. yeah, it didn't work out that way, but at least I can say that there was passion behind it and that they were excited to genuinely talk about this game. Oh, I didn't mention the boosting. Like, a lot of you youngsters probably don't know what that is, but basically players, what they would do is find a section of the map to hide in and kill each other over and over and over again to get things like nukes, camos, or attachments. This could be done by straight up locking a lobby as well. Like, if you had enough players on your friends list, you could just jump into a pub's lobby and have all of them join you and then just start boosting, which, now that I think about it, might be why disbanding lobbies are a thing, because it was probably just still happening. I guess you could still do it, but it's probably not as easy. Also, it's why things like tac insertions were gone for so long. Like, people were just using those to constantly spawn in the same spot over and over and over again. And a lot of the lobby boosting was also done in the third-person mode. Oh yeah, this game had that too. I believe it was done because no one played it, so it made it easier just to fill up lobbies with friends. So, yeah. I boosted, I'll be honest with that. It was a trend and a phase, but at this point, nobody really cares. I mean, it was 2009, I was young, who cares? So that's it. That's why Modern Warfare 2 was so goddamn good and easily the best in the franchise. I don't care what anyone else says, they're wrong. This is the best game by miles. And for a score, I'm going to give it 10 berries out of 10. If you disagree with that score, then do me a favor. Get on Google, type in closest Arby's, get in your car, and eat some Arby's. Because that's what you should do. Because you're wrong. And I'm right. Na boo boo. And yeah, I'm also planning on reviewing every Call of Duty from COD 4 to Vanguard, with Ghost and Vanguard already being done in a playlist right on my channel if you end up wanting to watch them. Mainly because I want to, and I want to go back and play them for a lengthy period of time and kind of get a maybe different perspective and understand why I didn't like them, and maybe my perspective on them changes. I don't know. Maybe at their core, they're better than I thought they were in the year I played them. So who knows? So what should I do next? Let me know in the comments what game you would like me to do. And also, what did you think of Modern Warfare 2 at the time? And will Modern Warfare 2 2022 be better than this game? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. Again, eat Arby's if you're mad, and well, bye.
My friend's hosting a 10 for Steve's lobby, $20 PayPal for 1,600 max out points. He doesn't mess around. If you give him a fake code of any sort, then he's going to ban you for 1 week or so. Just